we will see if we can make it through this one without too many interruptions. There's only 5. How many kids? 4? Wait, I have 4. Just 7.
No, but how many are out there though?
Oh, okay. Well, I have
5.
Yeah, there's 5.
Yeah.
Okay. But on today's Mary More Than Martha, we wanted to talk more about like mom guilt.
Yeah.
Mom fails.
Yeah, just like that overwhelming, crushing feeling that we get when we're like, oh man, I messed up.
I'm by far the worst parent ever.
Yeah, because I think everybody feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess culturally we're starting to talk about it more.
Yeah.
But I think we tend to go more in the culture tends to go more in the direction of you do you, I'll do me. That's it. Like, nobody judge anybody for any reason.
Yeah.
And partly I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand that because, again, we've talked about women tend to want to tear each other apart, right?
Yeah, women are nasty.
Love to tear each other apart.
Yeah.
This is the only way to do it. You're doing that wrong. How dare you do that? Whatever. And especially, it's funny, both of us tend to be more on the crunchy side of parenting, a little more holistic, a little more like cloth diapering and all of that stuff. And that's actually the side I think that tends to get the most heated about discussions. Like, how dare you formula feed? How dare you use disposable diapers? How dare you, whatever. And so there's,
well, and if we're dealing with this, the whole point of everything we're doing here is to look at things from a biblical scope.
Exactly.
So when we take this, what is the line? How do we navigate these waters of doing this stuff and dealing with it from a biblical perspective? So when is it just difference of opinion? And when is it you should step up as a mentor to a fellow sister in Christ and be like, do you need some help?
Yeah.
Should we do something here?
And I think a lot of it too is, as far as when to step in, when to say something. Oh, hold on.
She had put her phone on silent, guys.
Hold on. Hello?
Cool. Real life.
Hello? Hey, I'm recording. Okay, can I call you back in just a few? Okay, bye.
Way to go.
It's my little sister. Sisters have awesome time.
Yeah.
Brandon
never puts his phone on silent.
Yes. So as a woman in the church, as a parent, as a wife, my default is let me check with my husband first.
Should be.
And that kind of is the theme for me for this entire topic. Should I talk to this other person about doing this thing? Let me see what my husband feels. Let's pray about that. Let's see what's going on.
But those answers are so anti the norm.
Yeah.
That's so like fish swimming upstream.
Yeah. Because unless what you're seeing is so blatantly like that is actual abuse or that is actual neglect or, sometimes you can look at another mom and just go, oh, honey, you are exhausted. You haven't learned how to ask for help yet. That's another one. Ask for help.
Yeah.
I think too many of us, we feel this pressure to be so perfect at like first
all
go
the
around.
Things.
There's pressure with your first child to be perfect because you don't want anybody judging you for failing or having a dirty kid or whatever it is. Then there's pressure to get it perfect with the second one because you've already done this before, so you should know better. And then there's even more pressure for the third one because it's like, well, how dare I ask for anything? I should be an old hand at this. And the reality is I think each of those stages.
Well, and we have a culture that really is against large families. Yeah. So by the time you've added on a third child, I would really say, it's like, ooh, all those kids.
Yeah.
The view we have on motherhood, which, did you read that article in the Spring magazine?
Yes. That was awesome.
The spring edition of our e-magazine, pro-motherhood, not pro-life, pro-motherhood. So much. But I feel like that kind of plays
it was convicting for me. Like, not that I disagreed with anything or needed a real heart check, but just like the intentional thought process.
Yes.
Being intentional with that thought process. And I kind of was like,
It was one that she emailed her submission to me, like, I got it at like 10 o'clock at night. I was getting ready to lay in bed. I just kind of glanced at it. I was like, yeah, I'll read it tomorrow. But then I read the first couple lines, and I was in there on my phone, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, so anyway.
You have to read it. But.
Yeah, go read it. Go get the magazine. No, but
that aspect, how are we, so it's like once you have 3 or 4, then it's like you really have to act like you have it together. You really can't ask for help because you already have this, even if nobody specifically did anything, you have this like thing in you like, oh, I really gotta act like I've got it all together, I have everything under control, I really can't ask for help or do anything like that because I'm already being prejudged of all those kids, all that, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you're the Duggars.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
There's something wrong with that.
No, yeah.
But, you know, it's in social media. Yeah. So many people are posting their picture perfect parenting, my kid is so cute. Meanwhile, I'm over here like my kid was standing half naked in the guinea pig cage in the windows in front of our house. If you follow me, you know this is legit. Like,
literally happened.
And she does it all the time, guys.
So like the bad part is this is nothing new.
Like multiple times a day. We've officially hit the point where I'm like, I don't know what to do because we can't lock the door. It's this guinea pig cage. I know this is a tangent, but I feel the need to explain. This guinea pig cage is like 7 feet long. It's 3 feet across. We made it out of like crates and kind of like a cardboard type.
It's really cool.
It's really cool, but it's just this large area, and my oldest daughter, has it on the floor in her room, and it's backed up against her windows, and the 2-year-old has decided that she must be in there with them. She loves them so much, like hopefully not to death. She loves them so much. She goes in there and we find her and she'll normally, like, she holds them pretty good. She's actually done pretty good, but one time, like, one was like pointing downward and she's like petting him, she's putting him in buckets and doing all these things. So all day long, it's like, where did Emma disappear to? Where did she go? So Travis comes home the other day and he's like, this was my view walking in the house. And I'm like, well,
naked baby in the guinea pig cage.
Yeah, so, you know, I choose to not look at that as a parenting fail. I'm choosing to look at it as a parenting win. She's holding them appropriately. No guinea pigs were harmed in the making of that photo. She loves them. She's learning kindness and compassion.
You're teaching her to love God's created, beings.
So I'm choosing to look at it as a mom win instead. It doesn't, I ignore the fact that there's grossness that she's standing.
No, but I think that, so there's a couple sides here, right? There's one side to be upfront with our fails. Right. Because we do have this social media induced, not that it's just there, but it's really encouraged there. One side of it that everything is perfect, everything is smile, and all of this, everything is white and perfectly staged and nothing's dirty and everybody has happy hearts and kind words and blah, blah, whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not real. Then there's the second side of it where you
are almost complaining about everything.
Yeah. I was trying to like find the word.
It's where it's, especially you see it on the mommy vloggers, where all I'm going to do is talk about, oh my gosh, these kids, oh my gosh, this husband, oh my gosh, my house is a wreck, and all of these things, and they almost are putting it up on a pedestal of, no, you should be like this. And I would like to think that for the majority of them, I think their heart's in the right place. I just don't agree with 100% of how it's put out there. And this is coming from someone that I'm kind of brutally raw with some of the stuff I put out there. But you need to see the balance and you need to see the good things, and it should never come off as complaining. Like, hopefully, I like to put my stuff out there almost with more of a sense of amusement. Like, well, this is how my day went.
Like, you just have to laugh at this point.
Yeah, you do. But it's, and I don't think there's no such thing as a perfect parent. There's no such thing as perfect parents as a unit. There's no, so the first thing I think it's really important to surround yourself with people that you trust, or at least have one or two. You need your husband. You need other people that when you're having that moment of doubt, because sometimes we think we're failing, but it's not an actual failure.
Yeah.
So first you need to identify, did I actually fail?
Yeah.
Did I really drop the ball? Or do I feel this way because the world would tell me to feel guilty about this?
Because I'm not somehow meeting this like ridiculous standard that I feel the world is quite genuinely putting out, or it's just what I perceive as being
right. And I think this was talked about a little bit. I'm trying to remember. I think you talked about it on the line, actually, where one of the things you hear the most mom guilt, parent guilt about is my kid's not in any activities.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a parenting fail though? No, I don't think it is. There's nothing biblical in that.
Well, and what are we measuring our parenting success by? I kind of wrote a little thing about this in the magazine.
Yeah.
What are we measuring our parenting? Well, in everything this applies to, of course, but parenting specifically. What are we measuring this by? What is this goal that makes us a good parent?
Yeah.
I think we need to rethink that.
Right.
I think, do my children truly know who Christ is and truly know how to live a life modeled after Him to the glory of God? That is my parenting goal. Right. Everything else is irrelevant.
And I think it's important to point out, judging others by that same standard.
Yes.
Because, like, for example, I think we're a good example of that. Let's talk about homeschool for just a half second.
Yep. You
have an awesome curriculum that you write. I haven't done it because it's just not something I have felt called for. But I believe in all of your ideals behind it, all of the reasonings why you do things. We have one that is working for us, and it's actually something that, again, I think you would be okay with it, but it's like make sure we're evaluating, make sure that the heart's where it needs to be, make sure we're not.
Because we did that one for a year, and I think it's a great curriculum. For our family, and it was
and so what is it? So we have the two different curriculums, and yours is a very minimalist approach, which I like. It's just not. That's just not my heart right now. Where what we're doing, where
she's not making it a guinea pig.
Hi. What? You want help with what? You got hurt? Okay. But it would be very easy for either one of us to look at the other and be like, well, I don't agree with your, but I know you, I know your curriculum, I know your kids, and I know their hearts are where they need to be, right? So it's a non-issue, and I would hope it's the same the other way. Like,
now that you brought it up, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so it's just one of those. You just gotta. How are you evaluating? How are you evaluating how other people, how you see them discipline their kids? How are you evaluating whether or not they choose to spend money in a certain area on their children or not? Vaccines. I don't want to get into a vaccine debate right now. I really don't. But I think no matter what side of the issue you're on, we need to be evaluating. Okay, but for people who think that vaccines are toxic, the people who are vaccinating their kids are not doing it because they're trying to poison their children.
Of course not.
They're
just uneducated.
It's like we're not on the same side of this debate fully, which is interesting because I do tend to lean more holistic and homeopathic. But it's, I happen to, for the most part, believe in vaccines.
Sure.
That's just, and we've done our own research and we're on opposite sides, and that's cool. I don't care. My kids still hang out with your kids. It's fine. And I'm not really worried about it because mine have the vaccine, so if they're
my kids are in trouble. Dang. Now I know how she really feels, guys. Come on.
No, but like that's one of those. Like it's real vicious, especially within the Christian community.
And you can no longer speak to that person.
Yeah, because it's, and I've heard this, and again, please nobody respond to this. We don't want to get into the vaccine debate on this video. I don't know if we'll do it later. I don't know. I think that's one of those topics that maybe we shouldn't even entertain.
What are you trying to gain out of it?
So exactly.
I'm not going to change your mind, and you're not going to change my mind.
Right.
So what are we doing here?
So, but you see on those sides where it's just they love to attack each other. The pro-vaccine side is all down the throats of the anti-vax side because they're saying, well, you're the reason that these things are coming back and blah, blah, blah. And the anti-vaxxers are going, hey, this is poisoning our people. Why are you doing this? And it's whatever. Let's try and look at this with some point of sanity. And to me, this is not, it's a non-issue. You, when it comes to this, do what you need to do. Maybe I would feel different if my kids were in public school. They're not.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a non-issue because I'm just like, well, I've chosen what I've chosen and there you go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really not that worried about it.
And I think that makes a big difference. And, you know, the funny part is this whole topic to do this one specifically was we were on the phone one day and we both had one of those things that we were like, I am a really cruddy parent right now.
Yeah.
So I feel comfortable that I can share it with you and you're going to respond to me with a biblical perspective in mind.
Right.
I will share mine. So
it's not even that bad, you guys.
It's so horrible.
It's not that bad.
So we did this no fussing challenge, okay, with Lily. This is what it started as because Lily and I, we fuss. You know, we just fuss about things. And my husband has been like, you've got to stop this. And that's important. We're actually just reading in James today. I mean, we do have to control our tongues, the things we say, how we say them. It's incredibly important. I'm not downplaying that. Hey, Lily. Hey, Kaylin, can you guys shh? And hopefully you guys can hear all these things. But we did this no fussing challenge, and we did great, and we got a shake, and that was our goal, and we did all these things, whatever. But then Virginia, my younger daughter, got really super excited. She wanted to do this like special challenge with me as well. And I'm like, okay, what's something you need to work on? I said, okay, you've been really having a hard time keeping your stuff picked up. At the end of the night, I just make them pick up their room before bed. It had been a big deal. So I said, if you keep all of that picked up and you do it without any complaining or anything for the whole week, you can earn a shake or
a lollipop.
A lollipop, yeah. Oh, she wanted a lollipop. I said, well, go to the store and you can buy a lollipop. That was the whole thing. Because I'm intelligent, I also decided to bring apart all these things into our home the week I was trying to get the magazine done.
Right.
But you guys, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I am stressed out of my mind trying to get this thing done in time. I mean, more factors than I could but I'm still trying to be a good wife and a good mom.
Right.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm there for my husband and he's not missing podcasts and ministry things he needs to do because I'm busy. I'm trying to make sure that we're still getting homeschool done, that our house is like completely not in shambles-ish.
Right.
And all of the normal things, you know, plus I have a baby I'm nursing. So like a human, I'm literally trying to keep alive.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all of the things. It is the day that Virginia is supposed to go get her lollipops. The day has gone by way too quickly. I am not done. I'm having computer issues. Like every possible thing. So Virginia literally comes because I'm like, honey, we'll get to it later. We'll get to it later. We'll get to it later. Later finally comes. Like it's dinner time with like no dinner even to be had. And she's now just sitting behind me pouting. So she's just sitting behind me pouting. And quite truthfully, I mean, if you're 5 and you were promised that if you worked and you did this, you would get a lollipop at this day by this time, to sit behind me and be physically upset, it is not, you know, unimaginable for a 5-year-old to do. So it's not that she was doing any specific thing. Well, guys, I lost it. I lost my mind. I'm like, will you please? We'll do it tomorrow. Anything. And she just sits there and she's just like crushed, like her whole body. And I'm like, fine, that's it. You want your lollipops? We're gonna do lollipops. And I like grab the keys and I throw on. Maybe I didn't even throw on shoes. Maybe I was in slippers. Like it was ridiculous. It's like starting to rain now. My husband's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're going to get the lollipops. And he's like, honey, just wait a minute. And I'm like, nope, we're doing it. Get in the car. I get her in the car. I don't talk to her the whole way there. I'm just angry about these lollipops. I'm so mad. We get to the store and I just start storming off. So she's like trying to keep up behind me, you know. It was like now that I think back on it, watching myself, I look like such a fool. Such a fool. So I storm in there and I'm like, are these the lollipops you want? You know, I'm so mad about these. And I like shove them over to her and we go up and I'm like mad swiping my card through the thing. Like just as horrible as somebody can be about getting lollipops, like that was me. And I'm in the car, I'm like, do you understand when mommy's frustrated? Do you understand? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you better enjoy your lollipop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Heidi, you're such an idiot.
Yeah.
You're so dumb. The whole point of this was to be this, started with a no fussing challenge. So hello, hello fusser. That's why we say you must look in the mirror before you deal with these things.
Yeah.
The whole point was supposed to be this exciting thing to do with my children, to work on things, to get all of this stuff. And I was just like, the level in which I despise myself right now, like I have made myself sick. That was the most disgusting display of being a mother, a human being, a Christian, like every level of it. And so we talked about it.
Yeah.
I apologized to my child and to all of my children and even my poor brother who was in the car when all of this went down. I was like,
I didn't realize
Larkin was with me and he's just like,
and I can just picture him like, I'm not saying nothing.
He's like, these lollipops will catch you upset. Yeah, because he needed to go to the store. He's like, you mind if I catch a ride? I'm like, get in the car. You guys, it was not pretty. I am being completely for real. But then it was just like, sorry.
And now she's keeping her baby out.
Trapped over there like,
It's like she's saying she's kind of waking up, but as nicely as I can hear you guys way better than I can hear you.
okay, well, we're going to do it, whatever.
I know.
Anyways, point being, we failed. And so that was an instance, I was completely in the wrong.
Yeah.
I had no right. Like, the whole thing is just ridiculous. Can I be forgiven? Can we move on? Of course, most certainly, and all of that. And there was a lesson on both sides to be learned there.
Yeah, well, and I think you highlighted a really important point, though. Too many parents refuse to apologize to their kids.
Yes.
That is something that we
have to.
You know, I'm adamant, and I have been since the first day I was a parent, that I own up to my failures to my kids. I don't ever want them to.
I hated that as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you're wrong.
And I just felt like they should understand as quickly as possible that mommy and daddy are human.
Yeah.
And
because I think you see God's grace through that.
And if you don't apologize to your kids, if your kids are young, you're going to learn real fast. As they get older, they learn how to apologize from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you can't own up, how are they going to own up?
And if you hold grudges, that's the other thing is, you know, when we mess up as parents, it's so easy to be like, well, my kids should just move on from this moment right now. Like, you don't want them to make you pay for it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're making them pay for it when they do something inappropriate, it would be very easy for them to go, well, this is how we act. So if you want them to learn true forgiveness and how to accept that mom makes mistakes, dad makes mistakes, and to just like it for it to be a non-issue. Because really, that's what it should be. Then you have to be that way to them.
I don't know.
Kids are going to mess up. Kid fails are a real thing, obviously.
And you learn.
And that's how they learn. That's how we learn. We learn just as much from their failures. What is this? You want to play cards? Can she play with you?
I don't know. Those are mine?
Oh, they might be Sophie's. Then yes, we can play here. There you go. You know, so I think it's just so important to take yourself down a couple pegs. Mm-hmm. When you mess up, apologize, but don't apologize when you haven't messed up. That's another thing. You can say, I'm sorry you feel this way.
Yeah, I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm your parent.
Right, because that's the other end of the spectrum. There's the parents who refuse to apologize, and then there's the parents who just kick themselves over every little thing, and they're apologizing left and right. And it's something like the kids ask what's for dinner and you tell them something and they throw a fit and then they go, I'm so sorry I made this, let me make something else for you. And I'm sitting here going, really? Because the Lord provided that food.
Yeah.
I'm not tossing that food out. I'm not going to shove it down their throats either. That's just not our parenting style. My parenting style tends to be more like, if you want to starve and go to bed hungry, that's totally fine.
I have plenty of nutritious food here for you if you so would decide to eat. Not going well, guys. Card wars. You're gonna have to hold on a second because things just got for real. Just like when we were doing our live this past week and my girls were fighting over chapstick. Chapstick and cards, real story. But I think that is such a big part of it. We have to stop and we have to own up to these things. You have to find balance in all of these different things. And that's what's so important to stop and to do. And to look at it from a biblical scope. We are called as believers in Christ. It doesn't note at which age these things kick in.
Right.
There's no little asterisk in your Bible of, oh, well, only for these people, only for this age.
I wish there was. Like, at this age, this will happen. This is when you can expect. I wish that God had been, because if God says it, then I can be like, well, okay then.
Why do you think there's no specific age of accountability that's noted? Well, what is that age of accountability? So to sit there and look at these things, like, this is how we must live as believers in Christ. That's why right now in our daily Bible studies, we're going through the letters in the New Testament, because there's so much real life application.
Yeah.
How do we, because they're responding to real life situations. So in this situation, how do we do this?
Right.
As followers of Christ, how, like, I get it. I get what he said, but like, what does that mean when this person does that? What does that mean when I'm faced with this, right? What is the real life application to that? And so that's where, and we're constantly reading with our kids through the Bible. I mean, you have to. Your kids are not, if they cannot be saturated with the word themselves, how can we expect them to live it?
Well, you know, that dramatically, with no effort other than reading something written down, dramatically changes how your children behave. It's if you've been on the fence or kind of feeling like, I just don't have time to do this, I challenge you for 7 days to sit down and read. Not only will your kids be better, more responsive to what you're saying, but you will be more patient. It works both ways. We're changed, they're changed. And the cool thing is, you don't have to have any special parenting technique or system. All you've got to do is read. God tells us his word always accomplishes what he wants it to. It never returns void. This is very true. So if you're having issues with your kid that are like kind of above the normal learning how to be a human issues.
Come on now, we're all struggling.
Because there's no such thing as a kid who's like perfectly behaved. But you know, if it's like real serious behavioral issue stuff, the first thing either one of us will tell you is, are you reading with them or are you praying with them?
Because if you're not doing that, then what do you expect to have happen?
Yeah. So
we live in a sinful, fallen world.
Yeah. So how do you forgive yourself for your mom fails?
Oh.
Have you found a system that works really well for you? I have one, but I'm curious. We actually haven't talked about that.
No, we haven't. How to forgive myself. I think I deal with it like I deal with everything in life, which is the healthiest and best of methods. I just suppress it until I explode.
Or until you've like processed and moved.
Yeah. Like I deal with everything.
So for me, I can't do that. Because if I did that, I would just get more irritable every single day. And I would never be able to effectively. You're really good at being able to compartmentalize.
Yes.
Like, this incident happened, I can put it over here and still kind of move forward over here. I can't do that. It colors everything for me. So for me, what I do, the first thing I do is, if I can, is I call my husband and I say, this just happened. I feel terrible. There's a 50-50 thing, because sometimes he comes back and says, you're fine.
What are you so upset
why do you feel terrible?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go, oh, well, if my husband's okay, then I'm
Maybe
okay.
it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Maybe, yeah, because he'll be like, you're fine, whatever.
Because sometimes you do have to get out of your own head. On
Especially, I think moms are more sensitive. I think, well, and maybe it's just a personality thing. Because I know some dads that are really sensitive to that too. So the first thing I do is explain to my husband what happened, and I'm always really honest. And like, I've blown up in big ways at my kids for very little. It's some things happen, and sometimes he goes, well, they're young.
They should forget, don't worry.
They're young. They won't remember it as well as you do. And that's usually my key for, okay, so how do I deal with it? I take my medicine as quickly as possible. I approach that child one-on-one and I say, hey, listen, earlier you did this and it frustrated me and this is how I responded. And these are typically how my feels are. Usually I react disproportionately to what the children are doing. And I think that's kind of a pretty good, it's probably what most people do. It's usually just some sort of disproportionate reaction.
Yeah.
So I've reacted disproportionately. Maybe I've handed down like I'm taking this experience away or whatever. Maybe it's too much. I go to the child and say, hey, you did this, it upset me. I'm not exactly okay with your behavior, but I overreacted.
I'm not saying that was okay, but
so
my response was not better.
So owning that, and even if they did nothing wrong and you just exploded, you need to explain that part too. You didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. I'm having a bad day. I'm so sorry. This is why mommy needs Jesus.
Yes.
I try really hard to always point it. I always want to point it to that. I always want to point to Christ, the necessity of Him. Like, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall. We're going to stumble. We're going to, whatever. And this is why we need Christ. And I'm so sorry. And I hope you can forgive me. And if it's appropriate, I then go, hey, how about tomorrow we just you and me, I'll take you to whatever it is.
Just to do, because it's not even that like you get a
now
reward because I screwed up.
Yeah.
Let's have some one-on-one time together. I'll even do that where like I'll let that kid, we'll sit down and play a game of cards together, or we'll take a walk around the property together, or do just something where we're like one-on-one together. Like, I'm sorry, I suck at life.
Well, that's a twofold thing, because the thing is, when you have multiple children, chances are they're going bananas because they're feeling neglected in some way. Yeah. And chances are you're going bananas because you feel overwhelmed in some way. Yeah, and so typically, and we've talked about this before, sometimes you have to look at life and go, today I need to sit down on the couch with my kids.
Yeah.
Or I need to go walk with my kids.
All the homeschool plans, all the whatever.
Yeah,
we're going to go play outside.
Yeah, sometimes
we're going to watch movies all day and eat popcorn.
Yeah,
whatever.
Just go, look, this is not, it's not worth it to be this level of stress. I have so much more. It's more important to me that my kids and I have the connection that we need. What do you need?
It's up to your mother.
I don't really care. It's your house that'll get destroyed. So, I'll help you clean.
I think most of it's pretty much washable.
Okay. That's fine if they want to.
Ask Jen and Lily. They know where all the pink things are.
So yeah, I think it's just, it can all be summed up as everybody calm down. It's not that big of a deal.
If our eyes are on Christ, that's what. Who cares about all the other stuff?
Yeah.
Who cares?
And if your husband's not available for you to call and you can't wait, this is why it's important to have people in your life that you trust. Call a friend that you know is in the Lord. That's important. It can't just be someone that you're best friends with, that you grew up with. It needs to be someone who's going to be real with you and say, hey, look, what are you going through something right now? Because it does seem like it was a little bit, of an overreaction. Have you prayed about it? And someone who's willing to pray with you and for you, oh my gosh, I can't tell you what a blessing that is. To have some, people in your life that are willing to say, girl, you sound really overwhelmed right now. Or this is going on in your family, let's pray together, let's do it right now. That is so important too, is just being willing to just drop your knees in that moment and say,
please help me, because I'm not doing so well.
Yeah, so it's, hopefully people are getting from this video what we wanted, which is not a way to avoid parenting fails.
Because you're going to fail.
Or the way to be a perfect parent, or the perfect technique to whatever.
Because you're a sinner and you can't be.
Yeah, so it's more just, hey, it happens. Not only are you going to fail, the people that you're reading online are going to fail. The people that you meet at the supermarket are going to fail. That mom whose kid is screaming up and down the aisles in Walmart, if you do nothing else, can you maybe just stop in your tracks for a minute and pray for her?
Seriously.
Lord, that lady seems so overwhelmed right now. Maybe you're not an outgoing Christian. You don't feel comfortable going up to
If
her.
you can, lend a helping hand. If
Yeah.
you're there and you see her struggling, she's trying to get all the stuff. Hey, I'll grab it and stick it in here for you.
And tell her it's okay. Tell her it's okay. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, man, there's no reason not to pray for her.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you just sit and wallow in your fails either and live, like it's the same thing. The sin that leads to death is the sin that you refuse to turn away from.
Right.
So if you are consistently failing at things, seriously, not just you overreacting, but you seriously are, don't just continue to live in that. Don't continue to lash back and scream, to get over work, to get over stress, to continue to just live in your phone and ignore your children. Don't continue to do those things.
Yeah.
We're all doing something wrong. We all have to realize what we're doing wrong because we're rooted in the Word of God and that, and then we need to change and adjust and continue to assess because it's constantly there and it's constantly changing. And then you have to do those things. So on one side of it, don't beat yourself up, but on the other side of it, don't just continue to live and let yourself refuse to repent and truly turn from these things, and act differently.
And again, I can't, and I know people are going to be like, she harps on this so much. Keep your husband involved. Go to him.
Talk to him.
If you're not used to him being involved in the parenting stuff, because I know that's
might be weird for a minute.
That's pretty common in our culture for the dads to not really be. Women like to kind of dominate that role of parenting. First of all, your stress level will go way down. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not any good at it, you have somebody on your team. Like, even if all they can do is say, honey, I'm with you, like, you will feel 10 times better, and you've now opened the door for them to become more involved. You've put them, you just have to, because no matter what I'm saying, no matter what Heidi says, if you and your husband are walking with Jesus together, if you're growing your relationship together, at the end of the day,
even if you're starting at the beginning steps here,
at the end of the day, my opinion is not important. Short of the Lord's opinion of you, your husband's is the one that matters most. Not your kids, your husband's. So if you can be under that umbrella of safety, that protection of, honey, I just did this. I don't know if I overreacted. What do you think I should do? Listen to him and then say, thank you, honey, for letting me, talk to you about this. And I promise, like, that for me is my number one guilt reliever.
Yeah.
Whether I was in the right or the wrong, but it does, because even if he says, he never flat out goes, that was bad. But he does. He'll be like, well,
I can see him too.
Yeah, he's always so careful on how he talks to me. But then I have a path, and that usually is enough, because then I know what I need to do, and I don't, and that keeps me from wallowing in it. So I think we've covered it all a couple times.
No, we've already answered that question like 47 times.
So what about you guys?
Yes.
Do you have any, share your parenting fails and what you did? Sometimes they're really hilarious and not traumatic. So it's nice to share.
Sometimes it is nice to have that fellowship with another of like, oh, last week I do you one better. Let me tell you about this.
Yeah, and I actually I started a blog today I had like a moment for me over the last couple of days that was like mom fail. And it was like each kid I failed in a different way. So it was the trifecta of I'm a horrible parent right now. So I'm actually started a blog today. I'm going to try and have that done hopefully before this video comes out. So if you haven't read it yet, go read it.
I've got a link down in the description.
So that's why I didn't, because first of all, I have more than one. So we don't have 45 minutes for me to just have therapy with you. But yeah, let's share and encourage each other and lift each other up, even if that encouragement and edification is, hey, maybe you should go apologize to your kid.
Yeah.
And if you have the guts to do it, and I know some people will think this isn't a thing that takes guts, and other people will be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do that. If you have the guts, ask her to pray with you. I overreacted. Mommy's feeling really overwhelmed right now. Why don't we sit down and pray? Can you pray with me? Just be the one other person with me. Where two or more are gathered. It's a good lesson for them. This is how you teach them. If they see your default to be prayer and God's word and doing that, that will be their default.
Yep.
And that is the thing too. When I can look at my kids and I can see them doing things for the Lord, and I'm like, okay, that's my parenting win.
Yeah.
That win is always way bigger than my guilt. When it points to the Lord, it's not a shallow win.
Yeah.
It's like an eternal win, right?
Because,
so you're like,
well, when you think about the fact that Brady and I were just talking about this in daily Bible study videos, but your children are a gift from God. They're a good gift that He has handpicked for you. You've got to seriously think about that every day.
Yeah.
They're not, the kids, whatever. No, they're a gift that God Himself gave to you.
They're referred to as arrows.
Yeah. And so when you think about that you have to stand before God one day and give an account for what you did with these gifts that He gave you.
Yes.
I think just stopping and thinking about, there's so much weight to that. But stopping and thinking about that in the midst of your parenting makes you like, oh.
Well, and for me, just the whole concept of the quiver full of arrows. What do we do with an arrow? We guide it, we direct it, we aim it. Meaning that they are basically weapons for God, though.
Yeah.
Not like in a negative sense,
aiming
but
out
you are aiming them to be effective disciples of Christ, and that is the number one thing. So at the end of the day, if you forgot to give them a drink until bedtime, I've totally done that. I can be so bad at that. Having a kid who's much older, it's really easy to forget that, I need to make sure, because she'll make them lunch and she'll do these things, and then they'll be, after dinner, and they're like, Mom, Kaylin didn't give us a drink with breakfast or lunch. And then I'm like, oh, because that's totally my responsibility. And I can't even get mad at the older one for it, because I'm like, I should have checked. Thankfully, it's rare, but it's happened, so, that kind of a thing, or so then I'm like, all right, let's get a Camelback on you and really hydrate you.
I'm a bad mom, so I just Camelback them. I feel like your new ad. That will get Camelback sales up. You should reach out to them.
We really like Camelback as a company, so if you're watching this, I would totally film my kids wearing Camelbacks. Or maybe it's my kid's older, she's got some responsibilities, and there are some times where I'm like, when's the last time you've showered? Typically I'm on the ball with it. Typically this one I'm pretty on the ball with, but I can think of one or two times where she's like, and she has no answer. And then I'm like, thank goodness you're not in school, because she'd be the stinky kid. Maybe not, I'd probably be more OCD about it if she interacted out in public more. So whether you've had the fails
with my
like that.
hermit kids in the mountains doesn't count.
Well, they're outside, so nobody can smell anything. So you can, don't wallow in those things. Instead, you can sit there and say, okay. But I saw that same kid reading her Bible on her own today, just because she wanted to. And I saw my middle child, take extra effort to, go help take care of the baby. Or my baby went up to the older one and wanted to snuggle with her. Okay, well, those are things that we're doing right. Those are the wins. So.
Those are the good fruit
Yes.
that we are looking for and need to have.
Yes. So.
Hopefully this helps somebody. Maybe helps us anyways, at least talking through these things. At noon, we'll be on the live. My husband and I do a live. She is most always there in the comments chatting with us.
I won't be.
Not this time.
I won't be this
so
time.
The time when this goes out, I just lied about everything I just said. But next week.
Maybe I'll see if I can get my husband to do it.
Yeah.
That'd be fun if he could go
on. But Lex's blog, everything's linked down below with all of our stuff. And let us know. I mean, is there something that we can do? Something we can help with? Maybe you have some of those and you'd like someone to share it with and you don't have someone. Share it with us. We'll talk with you.
And I'd like to think we're pretty, like, non-judgmental about stuff. I think both of us tend to have the attitude of, okay, now dust yourself off and move forward. So, if that's what you're looking for, we're both here for you.
We got your back.
We got your back.
All right. Good. I think, that was all the things.
Good.
All right.